Hello, YouTube. I'm coming back at you once again. And this is entitled Walmarters to the Calls. Now, if you don't know, Walmart has always been under suspicion for being nothing more than a giant warehouse for martial law. And as a matter of fact, there are even pictures and people that have broken down, Walmart, and if you flip it and manipulate it, it spells martial law. And this is really funny to me. And is it by any coincidence that all of a sudden there is people being housed in these empty Walmarts that all of a sudden shut down around, I believe, 2015? Now, in the town where I live, none of that happened. Both Walmarts, which one is a super Walmart and the other one's just a little bit smaller than the other Walmart, which I consider it also to be another super Walmart because it's just the other one's a little bit smaller than the other one. But, to go on with the story, sorry about that. I really believe that this to be true. I've never trusted Walmart. To me, Walmart has always been kind of a weird place. Even when I go to the Walmarts, I get an eerie feeling about them. That's just me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you go into these Walmarts and think nothing about it. I'm just going to get my food. It's a nice place. For the most part, clean, don't have bad chicken, et cetera, and then I'm out. But me, I've always felt weird about Walmarts. And so as I go into this article, and this makes a lot of good points and things that I believe to be true about Walmart. Walmart looms large in American landscapes, not just as an operator of ubiquitous chains or retail discount stores that encompasses over 4,500 outlets across the U.S., or as the economic behemoth that is both the world's largest company by revenue and the world's biggest private employer. No, Walmart also looms large as a shadowy behind-the-scenes force, a willing collaborator in furthering furtive government plots through actions such as transporting signs announcing the upcoming imposition of the martial law on Walmart trucks, allowing federal immigration officials free rein to enter Walmart stores and arrest anyone suspected of being an illegal immigrant, and secretly funding the legal defense of white police officers who fatally shoot an unarmed black teenager. See, these are things that they do to desensitize and show the public that we are willing to do anything at any given time. And those are all symptoms of martial law. Whatever they say goes. If you're caught out after curfew, you're gunned down. If you're not chipped, meaning RFID chip, that is to come, you will be cut off and starved and won't be able to buy, sell, or trade anything. As I go on with the article, it's no wonder then that rumors began to swirl in April 2015 when several Walmart stores around the U.S. were abruptly closed due to what Walmart claimed were plumbing problems. Walmarts in Pico Rivera, California, Livingston, Texas, Midland, Texas, Brandon, Florida, and Tulsa, Oklahoma all suddenly closed their doors, with Walmart Corporation announcing that some of those outlets would be shuttered for 6 months or more. Several aspects of these closures struck Walmart employees and shoppers as implausible. How was it then that several stores in widely dispersed areas of the U.S. with nothing in common all needed to be shut down simultaneously in order to address plumbing problems? Why were all of these stores closed with barely more than a few hours' notice to Walmart customers and workers? Why should rectifying plumbing issues require that these stores be closed for upwards of 6 months? Why the seemingly lack of required city work permits and marked septic or plumbing trucks at the affected location? In the absence of more satisfying explanations, and skeptical onlookers developed numerous conspiracy theories about the real reasons behind the closures. And I agree with this, article too. I really believe that they're housing for the upcoming martial law. And this is not the only place. You got Target buildings and other buildings that will also be used. You even have some buildings that actually look like they have a watchtower. They actually have, on the corners of certain buildings, it looks like a prison watchtower. And from the inside of these stores, you can go in a certain room and go upstairs and look at the top of those places. So I really believe that these are being set up and they're doing it in plain sight. Sometimes the best place to hide certain things is in plain sight because people ignore it. Let's see, the closures were a form of union busting activity intended to get rid of workers who were publicly critical of Walmart's labor practices, such as employees of the Pico Rivera store. However, their theory doesn't account for why several other Walmart stores, not particularly known as hotbeds of labor activism, were also shuttered. Yeah, it doesn't. If it smells like a rat, looks like a rat, it usually is a rat. The closures are linked to the U.S. Army's Jade Helm military exercise scheduled for the summer of 2015, which involves soldiers trying to operate undetected among civilian populations in areas where residents will be advised to report any suspicious activity. The imposition of martial law and the construction of so-called FEMA domes across Texas. This theory doesn't account for why Walmart stores in states far outside the geographical range of the Jade Helm exercises, Florida, Oklahoma, should also be closed. And I'm not going to read all of this, folks. I'm not going to, keep you for long, but I really believe this is probably what Walmart's will probably be mostly for the martial law, but there's also other stores involved. So I really believe this to be true. This place is spiraling out of control, and I really believe Donald Trump is here to put the icing on the cake. So I'm going to close out with that. But I really do believe that Walmart's, if you flip it backwards, it says martial law. And I really believe this, all of a sudden closing of these stores will be used to house people for martial law. And like I said, if you don't believe me, you can even see some Targets and even some strip malls that, like you say, on the corner of those strip malls, you'll see like a tower, and it actually looks like a watchtower where a guard's going to be posted. So with that being said, Shalom, fam.